I love being like, I know this story hasn't been updated in 10 years, but has it ever occurred to you that Percy was going to get pregnant? No? Well, that's on you, babe. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carly, and one thing about me, I love having a brand. I'm obsessed with it. I'm addicted to it. I can't get enough of the stuff. I get lost in the sauce. I think that my tastes are intrinsically incredibly knowable, not to brag or anything. People just oftentimes recommend me things or tell me about things that inherently matter to me in a deep way. People just understand and know my tastes on an intimate level. And that has happened recently because the other day I got a message from someone and they said, have you heard about the fan fiction author who faked their own death? It seems like something that you need to know about. And they were correct. They were correct. It was correct. I needed to talk about it immediately. And that's what I have done here today. I did need to know about this absolutely immediately. I found out about this when I was grocery shopping and I just kind of hunched over in the pasta aisle. I honestly think from seeing side images of myself, like portraits and in mirrors, that my spine is so hunched that I'm giving myself scoliosis. So just imagine that. The spine in the shape of an old-timey cane, just hunched over like I'm the damn hunchback of Notre Dame, absolutely reading about an author who faked their own death, and they were a fan fiction author. So I'm going to tell you about this today. Think of this as an info dump. Leave this on, go about your day, do your chores, and allow me to info dump onto you the niche thing I'm interested in. Hello, hi! I thought before we jumped into the rest of today's video, we would talk about this video sponsor, Clean My Mac X. Clean My Mac X is the only Mac app that helps you control and maintain your computer. It keeps your computer clean and fast, and it simplifies this process. Look, you're a busy gal on the go. You're busy, you're girl bossing it up in the wide world. You don't have time to keep your Mac clean, and that's where Clean My Mac X comes in. Their Smart Scan feature takes away all of the hassle of cleaning up your Mac. When you press one button, Smart Scan cleans up, removes malware, and speeds up your computer in like 2 minutes. Clean My Mac X recently released a film called The Deepest Clean. Okay, Cannes Film Festival, Sundance selection. The Deepest Clean shows Mac users how to manually clean up their computer, like without the use of Clean My Mac app. And this process can take up to 10 hours. 10 hours of your life on God's green earth you are never getting back. So if you don't have 10 hours of your life to dedicate to an incredibly tedious task, Clean My Mac X can help you clean up your computer instead. Clean My Mac X is used in over 185 different countries, including Antarctica. Good for you, girl. The penguins need to clean up their Mac. Clean My Mac X also has an uninstaller, pretty self-explanatory, but let me explain it to you now. This helps you delete apps and reset malfunctioning ones. They also have a space lens, which is an interactive disk visualizer. This can help you find like large files that take up a lot of space in your computer. I love this computer. It's my lifeline. It's how I get work done, and if it doesn't work, then we've got a problem. However, I am also functionally illiterate when it comes to computer stuff, okay? I wish I was a woman in STEM. I love women in STEM. A woman in STEM, I am not. So if you want to use Clean My Mac X to keep your computer running well, go to the link in my description below and use the code Carly to get 20% off Clean My Mac. Again, go to the link in my description below and use the code Carly to get 20% off Clean My Mac X and watch your computer start performing better in like mere minutes. Thank you so much to Clean My Mac X for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. Okay. On September 4th, 2021, Berkeley Stoltz, who is also known as Icarus Pendragon on TikTok, admitted to faking their own death on fanfiction.net in June of 2012. Here's the video. This is of them talking about it. I've scoured through their entire account, just finding videos about the story of them faking their own death. This is iconic. It's worth noting in recent years, I think at the beginning of last year, an indie romance author faked their own death. They had claimed to commit suicide, then like a bunch of years later just like came back alive. It was like, hey, hey, and that's like a grown woman who should have known better, right? This person was a child, so this story is more deeply hilarious than anything else. Now, for me to really explain why this makes sense, I have to explain to you kind of the big three fan fiction websites. We have Wattpad, Archive of Our Own, and fanfiction.net, where this story takes place. I need to explain this so you understand the lay of the land, and just so it makes more sense to you, because this happening on fanfiction.net is 100% on brand and nothing has surprised me less. Generally, at the top, the top tier of fan fiction websites, we have Archive of Our Own. It's a website that runs well, which you would be surprised, but is an absolute plus for a fan fiction website. It works. So there's that. And they also have a really, really good tagging system. So it allows you to search for fanfics a lot easier. And it's called Archive of Our Own because it's literally like unarchived. Like, it's very, very well organized and very easy to navigate. So a lot of people who used to write on Wattpad or fanfiction.net, most people have migrated over to AO3 just because it works so well. Then we have Wattpad, which is kind of like the younger sibling who's cringy. Wattpad, has a mobile interface. It's very like app based. There's a lot of like, my parents sold me to One Direction. My boss Harry Styles fan fiction here. It's generally used by younger people, and I'm sure there's good work on Wattpad. It's just like, there's no way to find it because you just like search in the search bar and then their search system shows you whatever you want. But generally speaking, it's like, my parents sold me to Sherlock Holmes. You know what I mean? And then the middle child of this all is fanfiction.net. Do you remember seconds ago when I said that a fanfiction website actually being an operational website is a plus? Not when you're fanfiction.net. The website can just go down. It just goes down. It can just go down. It just goes down. It doesn't. Websites don't need to work. That's actually a common misconception. It also doesn't have as good of a tagging system, again, as Archive of Our Own. It's very like fandom based, and it used to be a lot more popular like 10, 15 years ago, in 2012, one might say. But generally speaking, because the website does not work, most people have moved over to Archive of Our Own, and what's left is the freaks. I love that. Said lovingly. Said absolutely lovingly. All that's to say is that fanfiction.net is basically the Wild West. It's unmoderated and it's just the freaks left. It does not surprise me in the least that this happened on fanfiction.net. Fanfiction.net gives me the vibe of it's the middle child, right? And you come out to your parents as gay. And then fanfiction.net is like, oh, I'm a furry. They kind of ride your coattails to come out as a furry, and you're like, valid, but like, not the time, babe. Just incredibly chaotic. It makes sense to me that somebody would fake their death on fanfiction.net. I'm sure this happens a lot more than we know. So Berkeley Stoltz has said on their TikTok that around the time they had 5 different active fanfiction.net accounts with different personas posting different fan fiction.
I did fake my death on fanfiction.net that one time, but what you guys don't know, because I have never told you, is that I have a grand total of 5 accounts on fanfiction.net, because each account I pretended to be somebody wildly different.
They were each different people with different interests and ways of being. You know, when you're 14 and you're just like, I'm gonna catfish strangers online, but in a victimless way. It's a victimless crime because you're just pretending to be someone else, but really you're just writing fan fiction where Draco and Harry are vampires, and they're vampires in Victorian London, and also Harry is pregnant. You know? A victimless crime, except for those of us who have to read it with our own eyeballs. You know, this is clinically 14-year-old behavior. Who are you at 14 if you're not crafting a different persona of the person you wish you could be? One of these accounts was called Blay Nix. Let me read Blay Nix's bio to you. Joined March 27th, 2012. Author has written 6 stories for The Hunger Games, Elephant Run, and Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I don't know what Elephant Run is, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. So my name is Aurora Blayson Nix. I go by Blay. When a child gets to pick their kind of name and give themselves a nickname, they go hard and you have to respect. It's why every single like original character in fanfic, they're like, my name is Rose Petal Aurora Skittles, and I'm a Ravenclaw, and I'm the daughter of Harry and Hermione, you know? And I love that. My all-time favorite band is Panic at the Disco. Yes! I love books, The Hunger Games, Harry Potter, Divergent, etc. Name a more... That's the trifecta right there. That's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father is The Hunger Games, the Son is Harry Potter, and the Holy Spirit is Divergent. I live in Alabama, sadly. Get 'em. Finish Alabama. When I grow up, I'm gonna play for the New York Philharmonic Orchestra, or be a physicist, or marine biologist. Children are so sweet. That is so sweet. I play the flute, cello, and violin. I love classical music and rock/metal. The Atlanta Symphony gives me chills. I love Yo-Yo Ma. I ramble a lot. Squirrel. Bring back random humor. I'm here if you need to talk to me. I don't judge no matter what. The end. And then the kind of smiley face that's like the colon and then a 3. You can't do it. All that's to say, they were a child wanting to play for the New York Philharmonic or being a physicist or a marine biologist. Children are so cute. Okay, if you look at the account, which is still up today, there's a lot of Hunger Games fan fiction. Stoltz said on their TikTok that like they got into fanfic and stuff like that because of the Hunger Games. You know, the games are retold from Peeta's perspective with an original character or an OC. What happens if the Capitol, you know, they got defeated at the end of the book series, spoiler alert, but then they regain control and Katniss and Peeta's child is sent into the rink. The arena. But they're an OC. But the story we're talking about today is titled My Friend Annabeth. This is a Percy Jackson and the Olympians fan fiction. It is a high school AU. AU, of course, is an alternate universe. So every single character in the series is in an alternate universe where they're all in high school. These characters, you know, go to middle school and regular school at the very beginning of the book series. But in this AU, you know, an example is like, even Zeus is in high school. They could be a principal, whatever, but every single character is in high school. They don't have powers. They're regular people, but it's the characters, okay? No notes, absolutely no notes. The blurb for this is Annabeth is the new girl at school who quickly catches Percy's eye. But does he stand a chance with her? Is she hiding something dark underneath her pretty face? No demigods, just normal teens, slight OC, original character. Love that. There are 9 chapters in total. One of those is the author faking their death, and the other is a posthumous update that was updated recently. Altogether, there are 20,000 words. Reviews, there's 224 basically comments, 91 faves, 70 follows. And this was all happening around this was all happening around August 2012. Okay? Here are a couple of excerpts from the story itself. Again, every single character, be it Percy, son of Poseidon, Annabeth, daughter of Athena, Zeus, a centaur, all of them are in high school. You know, they're experiencing the epic highs and lows of high school football. And again, they're 14. If you were to read literally anything I wrote at 14, you would string me up and bring back the guillotine because it would be an actual assault to the concept of literature, so I'm not judging. It's just funny. The door slams and I flinch. This isn't my first time in the principal's office, but it's my first time from fighting someone. Luke is sitting in the chair opposite from me, holding a tissue to his face, which happens to be bluer than flesh-toned. He has a cut in his eyebrow, his lip is split open, he has a black eye, and his nose is broken, all because of me. I think Luke is Hermes' son in the books. And they got in a fight. So, boys, would you care to tell me why you're fighting in my find hallway? Principal Zeus says. Before I have a chance to say anything, Luke, the coward that he is, says, Percy just jumped me. Bullshit, I say, standing up. Percy, Principal Zeus warns. Sir, I say, turning towards him. I didn't just jump him. He hit Annabeth, so it hit him. I think he means I. Is this true, Luke? Principal Zeus asks. Yes, but... No buts, he says. You know the school has a policy about fighting. Both of you are suspended until Wednesday. Your parents will be notified. You are dismissed. The teacher that broke up the fight escorts us out of the building. Unnamed teacher. Once out of the building, Luke looks at me and says, You're dead, Jackson. Then walks off. Me to Michael Jackson. You're dead, Jackson. I suppose I should be afraid, but I'm not. So that's the vibe. It's very like, you know, teenager rewriting Percy Jackson. We love it. No notes there, okay? Berkeley Stoltz as Blay Nix is writing this story, as you do. When you're writing fan fiction, you update by the chapter. More often than not, people don't upload a fully completed work. You like write a chapter, and then if people like it, you write another, and it continues to go. People are also heavily traumatized online because a lot of their favorite fan fictions are abandoned and never finished. Now, Blay Nix no longer wanted to finish this Percy Jackson series. They have ADHD, undiagnosed at the time, and the hyperfixation ended. This, I get, I identify. Nothing is more nightmarish to me than having to continue on a project I have grown weary and tired of and am no longer obsessed with. I would literally rather put a pistol to my head than have to work on one thing for one moment that I am no longer interested in. It is my greatest personality flaw, and that is valid. We need more representation of people who cannot work on things unless they are obsessed with them. So, Berkeley Stoltz as Blay Nix did not want to do this Percy Jackson High School AU fanfiction anymore. They wanted to move on. However, the fanfiction itself had a small but mighty following. We can see now that there was 200 comments and 70 to 90 follows. So those are active readers who want the story to be updated. These presumably were also rabid tweens and teenagers who were constantly commenting and saying things like, when are you updating? We need the next update. I need to know what happens once Percy's suspension from Principal Zeus ends. Things of that nature. Stoltz has said that they are a people pleaser. I love this. Absolutely obsessed with that. And instead of saying, hey guys, I don't want to write this anymore. I am 14 and I'm a constantly changing person and I'm not interested. They said I should fake my death. So they uploaded a chapter basically updating the readers on their life. Let me read it to you. Okay guys, so my name is Nina and I was one of Blay's best friends. I'm writing because Blay cannot anymore. A few months ago, Blay was diagnosed with lung cancer. She put up a long, hard battle, but we lost her recently. We are all heartbroken. She was such a beautiful girl who loved life. She also loved to write. The only thing that kept her going so long was writing. Her parents gave her laptop to me. On it were all of her stories for you guys, which she talked about constantly. Not all of them are complete, though. I will update what she has written for you guys, though. Thank you for all the kind words you gave her. You have no idea how much it meant to her. You really are amazing. She wrote that about herself. Nina doesn't exist. This is Berkeley writing about Blay, who is also them, dying. And I'm obsessed with this choice. I wish I could do this now instead of facing kind of consequences for my actions. If somebody ever asks me to do an iota of work I don't want to do, I would be like, oh, that's really interesting. But did you know that? Okay, guys. So my name is Nina and I was one of Carly's best friends. I'm writing this because Carly cannot anymore. A few months ago, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. Also a wild disease to pick. If you were a chronically online child, you had a Twitter mutual best friend who committed suicide, but they didn't. They just were doing it over DM, like, I'm gonna do it. And you were like 9, and you were like, no, please don't. And they were like, I'm gonna do it. And you're like, we live 7,000 miles away. Please don't do it. So suicide, unfortunately, is a very common, like, cause of death if you're faking your death online. Lung cancer, not so much. But you know what came out in 2012? The Fault in Our Stars. You know what main character Hazel Grace Lancaster has in The Fault in Our Stars? Lung cancer. So I'm galaxy braining here. I'm Sherlock Holmes in my mind palace. I'm going, absolutely. The Fault in Our Stars came out in January 2012. This was happening in August 2012. Obviously, they gave themselves lung cancer because Hazel Grace has lung cancer in The Fault in Our Stars. That's my, that's my conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat theory, okay? Now, there was one more chapter after this. This is chapter 8, the update. It was never completed. There was no other updates after this in 2012. Berkeley had said that they wrote that part of the, of their obituary being like, I'm gonna update whatever is still on the laptop, being like, maybe I would write one more chapter, but they never did. But in 2021, they started talking on TikTok about how they faked their death on fanfiction.net, and because it gained popularity, people were joking, being like, you should update it now. Update it 10 years later. Wouldn't that be funny? So they did. And this is the update. I want you to imagine that your favorite fan fiction is incomplete because the writer, to the best of your knowledge, died of cancer. Okay? The couple of days that I get off from school because of the suspension pass by surprisingly quickly, although on Wednesday, the last day of my suspension, misspelled crazily. Before I go back to school, I wake up in the morning feeling sick. This is from Percy's POV, by the way. I run from my room to the bathroom and throw up. After I finish doing that, I bring my hands down to rest on my stomach, and a thought dawns on me. I look in the mirror horrified. I run from the bathroom, a lot of running, to find my cell phone and call Annabeth. The phone rings for it feels like an eternity, but she picks up on the second ring. Percy, what's wrong? She asks shrillily, like she knows what I'm about to tell her. Annabeth, I say, taking a deep breath. I think I might be pregnant. Dun, dun, dun. And that part's written out. I'm not adding the dun, dun, dun. That's written out. Obviously, just kind of like as a crazy joke. I do love this. I love being like, I know this story hasn't been updated in 10 years, but has it ever occurred to you that Percy was going to get pregnant? No? Well, that's on you, babe. Now, these people did really think that Blay had died. Here are some comments. May Blay lie in heaven. I'm so sorry for you. No, I'm so sorry for her family, and the reader's loss. She was definitely the best writer I have ever seen on this site. She'll be smiling down on you from heaven now. Like, people thought this was real. I'm so sorry. Caps may look like I'm yelling, but I'm not. I just like caps. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I feel so sad, even though the whole lung cancer thing seems a little suspicious. Another part of my reading heart was just pulled off again today. I love being like, I'm so sorry for your loss. The lung cancer thing does seem a little suspicious, by the way. I do love caps lock. I'm so sorry. A part of my reading heart was destroyed today. So people thought that this person had passed away. Now, there are a couple of really fun little tidbits. There's just like, it's kind of just like fun little like wrinkles, like folds in this amazing story already. One of them is that in one of the videos that this creator made talking about them faking their death and explaining it, they have a t-shirt on that says Remus Lupin wouldn't want you, with a screen printing of the actor who plays Remus Lupin in the Harry Potter films. And it's tucked into pants. And it looks like the t-shirt just says, Remus Lupin wouldn't want you. And somebody commented this saying like, that really hurts, that hurts my feelings. And me as Carly Thorne, I just love online. I love online discourse being like, you faked your death. That sucks. But also just so we're clear, I'm sad that your t-shirt implies that a fictional werewolf is not interested in me sexually. But then the user replied saying that the t-shirt actually just says Remus Lupin wouldn't want you to do coke in the bathroom. Now, my favorite wrinkle in this story is that this user on TikTok, they got really big by making videos about the Omegaverse. Not like in canon, but like explaining the Omegaverse, because in the pandemic, they made a video about how they explained what the Omegaverse was to their mom, and everyone was like, lol, that's hilarious. And they have been consistently explaining via their whiteboard like fanfiction terms and generally what the Omegaverse is. I'm gonna read what the Omegaverse is to you if you don't know, because the fact that these words are gonna leave my mouth is horrific. Omegaverse fiction typically focuses on wolf or other canid-like behaviors in humans, especially as it pertains to sexual intercourse and sexuality, which is described as instinctual, responding to animalistic, physiological stimuli. So basically, it's like you're sexually kind of a wolf. This includes rutting and heat cycles. I only know about heat cycles because one of my friends does not have a cat that is neutered, and basically it just means that at a certain time of the year, you go into heat and the animal wants to have sex very badly. Pheromonal attraction between alpha and omegas, penises with knots, Jesus, scent marking, imprinting, breeding, mating rights, pack structures, and potentially permanent psychic bonds with a mate. Between alphas and betas, only females can carry on a pregnancy, but male omegas are often envisioned as being able to become pregnant via a uterus connected to the rectum. Alphas can impregnate regardless of their main gender to make penetration and impregnation easier. Male omegas often have self-lubricating anuses. Does that answer your question? So this user was explaining it on TikTok. That's what they do online to a certain extent. Icarus Pendragon, if you want to learn more about the Omegaverse. But while they were explaining all of this stuff using a whiteboard, they had a picture of Mitt Romney on the whiteboard because they find Mitt Romney sexy, because I think they live in Alabama, if that bio from fanfiction.net from a fake persona in 2012 is to be believed. So who's really to say? So because there is this photo of Mitt Romney on the whiteboard while this TikToker who faked their death on fanfiction.net in 2012 was explaining what the Omegaverse is to TikTok users, because they had previously explained what the Omegaverse is to their mother during the pandemic, Mitt Romney is an Omegaverse icon. Republican politician Mitt Romney It's an Omegaverse icon. It's like a meme. It's a joke. I had seen this around online and I didn't know what it could possibly refer to. Like people being like, lol, Mitt Romney's in the Omegaverse. And they just have him being the iconic Omegaverse king. While I was reading about this, I found a really funny tweet from Icarus Pendragon saying Mitt Romney's silence on his role in the Omegaverse is absolutely deafening. So what is it, Mitt? What is it? That is the story of the fan fiction author who faked their own death. I hope this was a little interesting, tiny little tidbit for you to enjoy. I just wanted to give you a little little just treat for the chronically online and sick in the head. Thank you so much for watching. All of my info, my Instagram, and all that fun stuff is in the description below, and I will see you soon. Bye.